Timothée Chalamet has been taking over Hollywood by being in almost every big movie. In 2021, the 26-year-old heartthrob was in films by Denis Villeneuve and Wes Anderson. He also starred alongside industry greats like Leonardo DiCaprio. Chalamet's performances have proven that he isn't just a pretty face. From films where he plays a minor role to ones where he's the main lead, here's our list of top 10 movies with Timothée Chalamet. Starting off with number 10, Hot Summer Nights. In this coming-of-age film, Chalamet stars as Daniel, a boy who lost his father and starts dealing drugs over the summer. Daniel finds himself falling in love while working this sketchy job and embarks on an enigmatic journey. This dark drama was directed by Elijah Bynum. Although the ratings of this movie are kind of low, Chalamet's acting outshines all the backlash the film received. Following up with number 9, an unexpected role by the actor. The King, which was released on Netflix, was the first movie Timothée was in that wasn't an adolescent drama. We'll talk about those further in the list. The film is about Hal, a capricious prince who is forced by circumstances to reluctantly accept the throne and become Henry V because of his father's death. Oh, and guess who else stars in the movie? None other than Robert Pattinson. Both execute their respective roles flawlessly, especially with their accents that go so well with the movie. The historical drama is directed by David Michôd and is a fantastic journey of a young prince becoming king. Now for number 8, Timothée doing drugs. You heard that right. For this movie, the young actor had to take a lot of hard drugs so he could accurately play his role. Just kidding, but Chalamet does portray a teenager named Nicholas who's going through a meth addiction. The film revolves around his relationship with his divorced father. The emotions are very strong in this one. A few tears will be shed, so be careful while watching. His co-star, the famous Steve Carell, plays his dad, David Sheff. And get this, it's based on a true story. Timothée did his homework and met with the actual people who went through this in their lives, so he could capture what addiction is like and how it affects those around him. Beautiful Boy is an excellent film for the young actor to really shine and show off his talents. His elegant performance gives us all a clear idea that he's got the range needed to be a star in the film industry. Up next at number 7, Don't Look Up. The 26-year-old stars as Yule, a religious skater boy who doesn't believe in the inevitable apocalypse. The satirical drama, directed by Adam McKay, has a superb cast consisting of DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Ariana Grande, Kid Cudi, Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill, and so many more A-listers. The entire budget was probably spent on hiring these actors. Timothée is one of the many hilarious characters in the movie who finds himself falling for the main protagonist. But this isn't the first time he's portrayed such a funny and laid-back guy. You may be familiar with the movie next on the list. Let's talk about number 6, Lady Bird. The movie has been highly praised by every theater kid on earth. Lady Bird is about a young high school student who wants to move to New York, leaving her family and life behind in California. The problems she faces include the cool kids of the school and her strict mother. Where does Chalamet belong in this film? He's one of the cool kids in the city. Of course, what else would he be? Kyle Scheibel is a narcissistic musician whom everyone has a crush on. He encounters Christine, or as she likes to call herself, Lady Bird. The two go through a rather uncomfortable and short-lived relationship, which ends in Kyle getting dumped. The movie stars Saoirse Ronan, Laurie Metcalf, and Beanie Feldstein, a great ensemble compiled by director Greta Gerwig. Little did Chalamet know that he would be in another movie directed by Gerwig just 2 years later. Following up with number 5, another Greta Gerwig film. Although Timothée doesn't land the spot as the main character in this movie, it's still a very heartfelt one. Little Women is a coming-of-age drama about 4 sisters living their lives after the Civil War. The 26-year-old plays Theodore Lawrence, who's with the family and has a romantic relationship with one of the sisters. We won't tell you which one because that's a spoiler. Little Women is another adaptation of the novel written by Louisa May Alcott, the first being a movie in 1994, directed by Gillian Armstrong, and Christian Bale as the character character Timothee plays. The film is an absolute hit and widely acclaimed and loved by many critics. Other cast members include Florence Pugh, Saoirse Ronan once again, Eliza Scanlon, and Emma Watson. From Little Women to Don't Look Up, it seems like the actor has a knack for being in movies with Hollywood's biggest stars and directors. Speaking of huge directors, wait till you hear about the top 3 films on the list. But before that, we're taking a trip to Italy. Next up, we have number 4, Call Me By Your Name. If you thought Lady Bird was loved by the youth, this movie takes the cake. Chalamet stars as Elio Perlman, a 17-year-old who falls for an older research assistant, Oliver, played by Armie Hammer. But this is no ordinary research assistant. The plot just thickened because he actually works for Elio's father. In this 1980s themed romantic drama, you're in for some amazing performances by both Timothee and Armie. The director, on the other hand, really has some range, since his next film was a remake of the classic horror, Suspiria. Now for the top 3. It was inevitable for an actor like Chalamet, known for his unique take on young characters, to star in a Wes Anderson film. The French Dispatch is about the top 3 best stories of the last decade: an artist sentenced to life imprisonment, student riots, and a kidnapping case resolved by the chief. It's rather a collection of 3 different chapters instead of a single overlying plot. Timothee finds himself in the riots and plays Zeffirelli, a student activist with wacky hair who needs help writing his own manifesto to become a true leader and gain the support of other students. Although he's got like 20 minutes of screen time, he still gives a very entertaining performance with a very limited script. We'd talk about the rest of the cast of this film, but there are just too many people. All you need to know is that it's directed by the symmetrical perfectionist, Wes Anderson. Up next at number 2, another huge director, cast Timothee. Probably one of the biggest films he was on that helped his career grow, Chalamet stars in none other than Interstellar as Matthew McConaughey's son. Everyone's probably seen this movie, but for a quick recap, it's about an astronaut who goes on a very long mission to outer space that surpasses the meaning of time. Timothee's role isn't very significant in this movie because he appears for just a scene or two to show that Coop's son, Tom, is growing up as his father doesn't age a second in outer space. Alongside Matthew McConaughey are Jessica Chastain, Casey Affleck, Michael Caine, and Anne Hathaway. Interstellar is truly a masterpiece by Christopher Nolan. So many emotions are running all at once in this sci-fi epic. Speaking of science fiction, a movie of a similar genre takes the number 1 spot on the list. Lastly, at number 1, the greatest sci-fi film. Considered one of the greatest sci-fi dramas ever made, Denis Villeneuve flawlessly executes the first part of Dune. Chalamet stars as the main character, Paul Atreides, a young man born into a great destiny that awaits him. He embarks on a journey with his parents to ensure the survival of his people in a universe filled with sand, giant worms, and opposing forces. When we say the universe is filled with sand, it wasn't an understatement. There's just so much sand. How did they manage to make Timothy's hair look so flawless with all that wind? Dune is a perfect movie that builds up a world and introduces the characters with its dense plot that stays true to the books. He stars alongside another great cast that includes Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa, Zendaya, and Rebecca Ferguson. If you thought Chalamet's previous roles made it clear that he has range, Dune is an absolutely perfect addition to the list. He blew us away harder than all the wins in the movie, with an excellent performance as Paul that makes you wonder why he wasn't nominated for an Oscar. Yes, his phenomenal acting was Oscar-worthy. If this didn't get him the win, the sequel set to release in 2023 definitely guarantees him a shot. Without a doubt, the young star has the skill for dramatic roles. Now, all we can do is wait for his next movie that's about Willy Wonka. And that's a wrap for this video. What are your favorite movies Timothée Chalamet has starred in? Let us know in the comments below. As always, leave a like and hit that subscribe button for more of our content. See you in the next one.